And don't get me wrong, authenticity does have its price, but it's not your happiness. The price is convenience. And for me, authenticity meant that maybe traditional relationship styles don't work for me, and that might mean that it takes me longer to find a partner. The formula for happiness. What does it actually mean to be happy? And I don't mean the kind of happiness that comes and goes, the dopamine highs, the quick distractions. I mean a happiness that's here to stay. They say money can't buy happiness, but I can't sugarcoat it. The first part of this formula is money. And that's not to say money is the end all be all, because there's plenty of people with tons of money who hate themselves, their lives, their circumstances. And I know some people might say, well, I've experienced happiness and I don't have a ton of money. I imagine you experience some kind of fleeting happiness where it comes and goes and you wonder why you can't maintain it. Well, during even like slavery, people experienced joy and happiness, a fleeting version of it. During the Holocaust, people experienced a fleeting version of joy and happiness that came and gone if they felt it at all. And that's all to say that money is the foundation, happiness is the skyscraper, and it gets really rocky when that foundation isn't solid. Once your core needs are met, food, water, shelter, health, that's when happiness can truly start brewing and it's time to do some life accountability. For me, I did this at a 3-day silent retreat. There was no phones, no talking, just pure mindfulness. And while I was out there, I had an epiphany. I was like, wow, this is maybe the happiest I've been in a really long time. And I was like, this would be a great opportunity for me to just do some like life accounting and find out, like, in this very chaotic world where we have very little control, what are the things that bring me happiness despite all of that? And for me, I found that one piece of that was being in nature. Another piece was I enjoyed pondering about the human experience. And then third, I'll enjoy actually being a part of the human experience. And the best part about all of these is to do those things, it doesn't cost a ton of money, but it does cost some money. So from there, I derived my purpose, and my purpose is to aspire to do things, then to create those things, and then to inspire other people to do the same. And that purpose drives me every single day. And I know you heard me mention health as one of the core needs when typically most people would only list out food, water, and shelter. And the reason I do that is if money is the foundation of the happiness skyscraper, then the elevator up the happiness skyscraper is going to be your health. And the reason I say that is I just said that, purpose is going to be what brings you a lot of your happiness, the reason that you wake up. Well, what can get in the way of you being able to do your purpose is obstacles. And frequently, people's obstacles on the way to their purpose are going to be health obstacles, how unhealthy they are. When you have knee pain, are you going to be able to do your purpose? When you have a stomach ache, are you going to be able to do your purpose? When you're stressed out, are you going to be able to do your purpose? All these kinds of things. For me, I eat well and I lift about 3 times a week. The last thing you want to do when you're trying to achieve happiness, life is already hard. Don't get in your own way. Hate to break it to you, we're a social species. Happiness doesn't exist in a vacuum. Your purpose probably needs to be aligned in community, because just think about it. The only reason you aspire to do something is because somebody inspired you by creating something. So when you create something, you need to have in mind that I'm doing this with the intention of inspiring somebody so that they can aspire to do something to continue that process. What this does, this makes everything you do bigger than self, and that gives purpose. But even further than that, sharing experiences is so much better than just keeping an experience to yourself. And you can kind of think about that 2 ways. You can think about you and somebody going on a trip or to a concert together and being able to kind of like recollect on that experience and kind of be like, oh yeah, that was such a good time, da 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 da. Or even if you go on a trip by yourself or go to a concert by yourself, being able to share that experience with someone else and allowing them to also like experience that joy and maybe find out, oh, that's something I want to do. You've introduced more joy into the world by virtue of simply sharing your experience. Like, fortunately, I won't be talking about how to build community in this video, but I promise you, your ability to maintain happiness will depend on your ability to find community. And this is the part that most people need to hear. Authenticity. You can't live your life as someone else and be happy. You can't live your life for someone else and be happy. You can reap the benefits of pretending to be someone else, but for every time you do that, your soul pays the price. Your soul is crushed for it, and your soul can only be crushed so many times before it breaks. And this is how a lot of people remain unhappy for very long periods of their life. They have been inauthentic for so long, they don't even know who their authentic selves are, so they find it hard to act in alignment with their souls. But our souls don't care that we don't know how to be in alignment with them. When we do actions or when we perform actions that are out of alignment with it, it is crushed all the same. And don't get me wrong, authenticity does have its price, but it's not your happiness. The price is convenience. And For me, authenticity meant that maybe traditional relationship styles don't work for me, and that might mean that it takes me longer to find a partner. Authenticity for me means wearing 3-inch shorts to the gym. Authenticity means to me, I might wait till I'm 37 to have children. Authenticity to me means creating this channel, you know? But yeah, that's the formula. Largely, you want enough money to nourish yourself, keep a roof over your head, be able to maintain your health. You also want to aspire to do things and then create those things and then hopefully inspire other people to do the same. You want to be able to have like a community to one like share experiences with, but also just to build with. And then lastly, you want to be authentic because the only price of being authentic is convenience, and being happiness is worth so much more than that. Thanks.